Welcome to Beyond Measure. First up is Coordination's Craft Core Tim Holtz Distress Paper. It's wonderful, wonderful quality paper. I love working with it. You'll see what I mean as we go forth into our project. I'm cutting 1-inch strips to make our bushel. I cut 4 1-inch strips of each color. You don't have to use 3 different colors. I just thought it would give it a little bit more depth. I'm prepping the paper, say that 10 times fast, for the Sizzix Texture Boutique embossing machine, in which I will use the Tim Holtz Sizzix texture fade in wood grain. It is an uber fabulous. Tim Holtz texture fades give a very nice deep impression. Let's knock on wood about that one. Ha ha ha! So now it's time for inking so that it will accent all of the lovely embossing we just did. The ink of choice is Tim Holtz Distress Inks. I'm using walnut stain, frayed burlap, antique linen. You really could use any of his aging colors. This is getting exciting. Then I brought up my chipboard because I'm not supposed to sand on my non-stick crafting mat. Next up, I played with the slats a little bit to see which ones would need adhesive on 2 sides versus only having it on 1 side. Of course, you are safe if you just put the adhesive on 1 side and add it on the other as you're going. Notice how I'm making a small, skinny, long V, keeping every other one on top, so to speak, and every other one on the bottom. This will help to create a more realistic bushel. I don't know how easily you can view the details, but when I used my sanding block, which was the black kind, it added a little bit of black, almost dirtiness to it. It doesn't look dirty in person, but it really added a nice effect. So don't be afraid to use your black sanding block. If you're working on a non-stick surface, don't be that concerned about extra adhesive. It releases easily with a little spatula. Next up, this is Sculpey 3 clay. Ooh, now that was fast. This is Doris wire. Just clipping off a piece of wire for the handle of my bushel, and then I'm placing the clay around that, and I will bake in the oven at 275 for approximately 20-25 minutes. That is the only way that this clay will harden. The Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher is the next tool of the trade to be used. I really love the effect that it gives to the bushel. Next, we need to trace around the bushel so that we can kind of, so to speak, line it with a smoother piece of paper and also make it more sturdy. So you'll need to duplicate the inner lining and the outer shell. I needed a darker color of eyelets rather than brass, so I took my Never Fear, I'm Here to Save the Day woodsy brown Big Market marker. This is the We Are Memory Keepers Big Bite, and boy, do I love it! It's super easy to use, and it does a very awesome job. First I punched holes with it, now I'm applying the eyelets with it. Easy peasy, right? Woohoo! Now we get to attach the handle. First, thread each end of the wire through each eyelet, then bend it over, and then wrap the ends around the actual quote-unquote handle. So let's twist again, like we did last summer. Let's twist again, like we did last year. So now you have an operable handle for your bushel. Make the cut software. Love it! So I grabbed a tag from the library of basic shapes, and then I measured the actual bushel to see what measurement I needed to cut the tag. The purpose in showing you all of these hearts is that there's so much versatility in using this software, and it is very easy. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Next up is the Sizzix Texture Boutique, and I'm placing my heart of gold in the embossing folder and running it through. This is 10-second Studio Gold Metal. The metal embosses so beautifully in the embossing machine, and especially when you take it out and sand off the gold and then some aluminum silver peeks through. So elegant looking. Next, I'm using the Tim Holtz Texture Fade Regal Flourishes. Honestly, this is the first time I've used that folder because it was a gift for Christmas. It's quite lovely. And again, we need to bring out the chipboard to be able to sand where we embossed our coordinations paper. I am so very thankful to get to work with the coordinations paper as it does such a lovely professional job. Now I'm inking a bit with Fired Brick Tim Holtz Distress ink just to add more depth, interest, and a professional finished look. I love the natural highlighting and shading that the inking does to objects. My heart beats for you! We need to ink the tag so that it has a finished professional look. Sparingly inking the bushel also. It is so amazing what ink does for a project. Woohoo! We get to use the superfluous Martha Stewart eyelet around the page punch. Taking in account that the piece of paper that you're going around with these punches has to be in 1 3/4 inch increments. Woohoo! Next up is the Xyron 500. I cut another tag and am running it through because my craft paper needed some reinforcement. Because of the second layer having a white core, it doesn't look so professional with the craft core, so I'm covering it, so to speak, with the ink. Now we need to size things up a bit and make sure that the tag is the perfect size to go inside the bushel. We have a new raw edge that needs to be finished out with ink, and we also need to ink the inside lace layer with old paper and walnut stain. Let's take a gander at where the top of the bushel hits the tag. Oh, the Xyron. It's so awesome. You can really trust that it will stick and stay stuck. Especially on lacy designs like this eyelet edge. Woohoo! Kay Andrew Designs. She did it again. It's Valentine's stamp set. I love it and the quality is so nice. I can't really even describe what I mean by that, but once you stamp with her stamps, you'll know what I mean. And by the way, I used the Rockin' Blocks by Crafter's Companion to adhere her stamps to. Woohoo! I just love hearts for Valentine's Day. As always, the Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive is here to save the day and adhere our hearts together. This is where your artistic licensing comes in. You know, there's no rhyme or reason as to putting which heart where and this, that, and the other. Just go with the flow. Pray about it. Ask the Lord what to do. And also use some of the Zotz Pop Dots for dimension. It creates more interest in the visual of your card. I'm going to overlap some of the hearts over the front of the bushel to make it look like it's overflowing with love. Next, I'm going to try my hand at making a wiggler. That's why we're getting the hot glue gun ready. I'm using the Viva Decor Carmine Red in their pearl paper pen. Oh, it looks so lovely. Following the Carmine Red is the Opal Pearl pen. Because Valentine's Day is just filled with sparkle, we can't leave out our distress stickles in worn lipstick. For the wiggler, I'm winding some wire around a pen. Then placing some hot glue on some sturdy cardstock. This will enable me to adhere the wire quote-unquote spring to my piece of cardstock. You'll need to do the same on the other end. I'm using glossy accents to adhere the wiggler to my front two hearts because one of them was made from metal. Then, using hot glue, I adhered it to the actual card because it was paper to paper. Woohoo! Hot lips! Hey Andrew Designs, it's Valentine's and I love you a bushel and a peck. Threading the red and white twine through the tag and tying it in a bow placing a teeny dot of glossy accents to secure the bow. I love you, a bushel and a peck, you bet your pretty neck I do. Be blessed beyond measure. Thanks so much.